Welcome to the Coast of Distinct podcast. It's your boy DJ KO, man. I'm glad you guys tuned back into the show. I'm glad you guys. It's good to see you guys again, man. Another week. We had a great week last week. We'll have another great week this week. Shout out to my homegirl, Laura, that came on the show last week. Talk about those affirmations. Hey, I got them cards here, Laura. So look, when you come back to the studio, we got some affirmations that everybody got to come pick out the affirmation and read it out on camera. But speaking of that, I'd like to thank all you guys who tune into the show, who subscribe to the show. I thank you guys for being loyal to the show and giving me your feedback and everything that you love to see and things that you would love to see in the future. So in saying that, we have a special guest in the building today. You probably seen this brother out in the streets in a positive way, right? In a positive way, right? He's out in the Houston area fighting crime for us. Well, not fighting crime. He's fighting crime legally, in the legal sense. I want everybody to welcome to the show. We're going to get into it a little more deep, but I want everybody to welcome to the show Sam Milledge II. What's going on, brother?
Man, you got it, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, man, I appreciate you coming through, man. You're a busy man. You know what I'm saying? Being a big-time attorney and all, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, watch out.
So, Sam, for the people that don't know, man, where you from?
I'm from North Houston. I'm from Greens Point.
You from the hood?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm from the Point, man, 56.
Hey,
so.
Man, shout out to everybody in the hood that became successful in life. Hey, man. All right. Cool.
Yeah, man. So that's where my upbringing comes from. Went to Conley Elementary, Bama Middle School, Wilson Intermediate.
Okay.
I could play ball real well. Went to St. Pius over here in Shepherd Park Terrace. Then from there, went to Alabama State University, playing basketball for 4 years. Two-time SWAC champion.
Okay, all right.
Came back home, got my degree in communications, radio, and TV broadcasting.
Okay.
Trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. I wanted to keep hooping or, pursue my my degree. Decided to pursue my degree while still trying to keep my basketball dreams alive. Worked here at KBXX, which is 97.9.
Okay.
97.9 The Box. Worked on the programming side as well as the promotion side. Went by the on-air moniker of Handsome Sam, the Greens Point Gentleman.
Okay.
Got tired of that. Decided I wanted to do something else with life, and went to law school. Went to law school at Southern University Law Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There on the bluff.
Hey, shout out Southern.
So did that. Graduated in 2009. Left there, went to the West Coast, worked in Las Vegas, worked as a public defender.
Okay.
Clark County Public Defender's Office. Did that for 2 years and decided I wanted to come back home. And so myself and my father, who's also an attorney, we have the Milledge Law Firm. Been doing that since 2011.
Okay.
Deal with criminal cases all over the state of Texas and all over the country. Trial lawyer. I don't know how many trials I've had to date, man. But I've had a lot, been very successful. And now I'm at the point where I feel like I want to make a deeper impact and a different impact.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the first time, I'm running for public office.
Okay.
I've been asked before, and I've declined, but I feel like the timing is right now.
Okay, and we'll get into that. Shout out to all of the achievements and accomplishments, accolades that you got. We're going to get into that. So you went to Bama State, right?
I did.
Bama State. Shout out to Alabama State,
Yes, sir.
So were you there when 2 Chainz was there?
No, Chainz is way before me, but he was a former basketball player.
Right.
At the time, he was Titty Boy.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So when we used to have a lot of shows on campus, man, DTP was huge because Lil Fate and Ludacris' little brother went to state.
Right.
So they were always on campus. And then, matter of fact, one of the main cats from DTP, that was one of their managers, is a good friend of mine, C-Love, Courtney Stewart. He manages the artist Khalid.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
we were in school together, so we'd always see Titty Boy at the time.
Right.
And then, you know, once he did Player Circle, that went to he turned to 2 Chainz.
Right.
And so real cool dude, man, humble cat, straight Atlanta, straight Bama
Right.
State. You know what I'm saying? But no, I was after him. I was on the first SWAC championship team and the second SWAC championship team. I don't really count the first one.
Okay.
I didn't really play that much.
What's your head coach, Spivey?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know
Coach
Spivey. Yeah,
Rob
Spivey. He was
yes,
over
sir.
he came to Southern for a little bit.
He was at Southern when I was in law school.
Okay.
Yeah, so matter of fact, his whole staff for the most part was Alabama State staff. Coach Proctor was there. So I'd actually, you know, practice with the guys, see some of the guys, critique, and, you know, he had a good year that first year, but then after that, you know,
Yeah, went downhill, yeah.
yeah.
So what you played the one?
Yeah, I played the one.
Okay.
Myself, Malcolm Campbell. You know, it's crazy, man. Now I'm coaching AAU basketball. And so, you know, it's just funny seeing all the guys that you grew up playing with in the Houston area, but then also cats you played against in college.
Right.
Now everybody's grown with kids, and you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's like I still feel like we're like 2021.
Nah, I don't know about that, you know.
But we're not. We're
Right.
not.
Your body don't lie. Look.
No, it does not. No.
So look, in playing ball, especially going to a HBCU playing ball, what was some things? Because I know at a HBCU, most HBCUs that I went to HBCU, of course. Shout out to Southern University. Hold on, I gotta get a hand clap for that. I'm sorry. Shout out to Southern University. I love Alabama State, but Southern University, it is what it is. You dig what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So, but in college, and I was also an athlete, football.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have in your mind to have that idea of what you was going to do when you graduate, or you was like clueless until your senior year?
No, to be honest with you, man, I was kind of one of those student athletes. I'm not gonna say rare because that's a stereotype. There are a lot of cats that were in school that played ball that was about their business.
Okay.
Right? And understood, hey, there's life after ball.
Right.
And I think at State, man, they did a pretty good job of making sure our AD, Mr. Whitfield at the time, rest in peace, really made sure that, hey, you know, most of us may go play ball overseas,
Right.
but some of us won't.
Right.
And so we need to understand the importance of that degree and put ourselves in positions, whether that be through internships, externships,
Right.
to be ready. So I kind of had an idea. Now, to be real with you, I knew I wanted to be either doing TV or doing radio.
Okay.
Being a lawyer was the furthest thing from my mind. Like, that ain't crossed my mind because my dad was an attorney, but it wasn't glorious. Like, man, we were struggling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was doing boring stuff.
It wasn't sexy. It wasn't a sexy profession.
It wasn't a Perry Mason. You can't handle the truth.
Right.
It wasn't the Johnny Cochran type stuff. It was
Right.
man, you know what I'm saying? Like it, and then my dad moonlighted as really, I'd say his true passion. My dad is a musician,
Okay.
jazz musician, and he was also a band director. So I was,
Oh wow.
I was more so into that and seeing him do that. So the lawyer thing, I was like, yeah, it's cool, but like I don't really feel like I'm reaping the benefits. Like when I went to St. Pius, I saw cats whose folks were attorneys, and I saw like how they were
Yeah, that's a
living.
high end school, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what
private
I'm
school.
saying?
Yeah.
So I saw how they were living, and I'm like, man, you know, it just didn't cross my mind. But my dad's always been my hero and my mentor. Like everything I did, like he went to Alabama State,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
He pledged Kappa, I pledged Kappa.
Okay.
You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? So at Alabama State, Beta Zeta, you know. So I just wasn't. I
gotta
just
ask you a
really wasn't
question.
trying to do that.
You know, I got to ask you a question. I know your dad went to Alabama State,
Mhm.
but all these schools in Texas.
Bro, I was not trying to go to school. in Texas.
No.
To be real with you, I wasn't even supposed to be at Alabama State.
Mm.
I signed with Norfolk State. That was the school that I wanted
down
to
in
go
Virginia.
to. Yes, sir.
Okay.
That was the school that I wanted to go to. Had my heart set on it. Told all the schools that were recruiting me, I'm good. Norfolk
Okay.
State. But then they got in trouble. Got placed under investigation.
Yeah.
And you know things happened, and so you know God had a plan for me. It was meant for me to go to Alabama
Right.
State. So I enjoyed my time at HBCU.
Right.
I absolutely enjoyed Alabama State.
So fast forward that, and you came back home,
Mhm.
right? Graduated, came back home
Mhm.
to Houston, and you at that time 97.9 was like one of the biggest stations in the world, syndicated in the
Correct.
world,
Correct.
and you got a job there,
Correct.
right? When you was an intern, what were you
I
in?
started off as an intern at
Okay.
KMJQ, which was the sister station 102.
Okay.
Under Jeff Harrison. I was his producer. Right?
Okay.
And I did so well myself and this other sister that went to Prairie View. I cannot think of her name now, but Cole's sister, Nikolai. Super, super dope sister. She's a Delta.
Mm-hmm.
We were only 2 out of like 30 interns that they had that they offered jobs to. And I took a job there, and I knew I was going to have to work my way up. So I started off in the promotions department.
Okay.
And, there were people in the sales department that saw my talent and kind of pushed me to the programming side. So I got my shot working as a producer with the Cracker Nuts.
Okay. Okay.
And then from there, got on the show with Joke the Smoke and DJ Ebonics, Friday Night Takeover. Then just started getting noticed, and so that was my thing. And I was DJing, just doing all the type of stuff.
Right.
So I kind of was living out my degree and was having a good time, man. Life was good, was making money. Working radio was one of the best jobs and easiest jobs.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You have access to everything.
Oh, bro, it was, as a young man growing up in Houston, man. Like, it was lovely because, like you said, 97.9 at that time was the only hip hop station.
Right.
They've outlasted all the other stations. 93.7 is the only station that I've seen last as long as it's lasted.
They new, and they fairly new. Our heart.
Right. So, man, it's just, but things happen, and for me, we had a change in management, and the philosophy didn't align with my philosophy. And I've always said to myself, man, I've always been a guy, I ain't meant to be an employee.
Right. I got you.
So I kind of saw, like, I'm busting my, I'm busting my ass and I'm grinding, but yet now you have new management that's coming in that's trying to dictate how your money flows. And I was more qualified than a lot of people that were working there, i.e. I had a degree, which a lot of people in radio don't necessarily have a degree.
Right, that's true.
And so, it's no hard feelings. Matter of fact, I am super cool with everyone and even management that's still there now.
Okay.
Right? So it's no hard feelings, but I knew I had options to either go play ball overseas, right?
Okay.
Had a contract to Germany, had a contract to Colombia. So I knew I had that. And then a situation happened. That's how I got into law, where I got accused of being a drug dealer just standing outside my own apartment complex. I lived, if you're from Greenspoint, this complex is notorious. I lived in the Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Just standing outside minding my business. And laws roll up. We wave at the laws. It was me and one of my boys that played AAU ball with me that was home. And, it just turned left, man. They just got to harassing us, slamming us on the cars. And I remember calling my dad. My mom was out of town. And I remember my dad and them lived right off 1960. So they were like maybe 5 minutes away. I remember calling my dad, telling him what was going on. And he can hear the officers in the back. Get off the damn phone, this and that. My dad was like, man, what the hell is going on?
Right.
And, man, my old man drove up, Kool-Aid stained shirt, open-toe sandals, just looking slouchy.
Old school, yeah.
Old school, but he came and regulated. And when he said he was an attorney and this is my son, and they, you always had that one short guy that's trying to, be bigger than what he is. All these officers, they had like 15 officers that pulled up, K9s and everything.
Wow.
Mind you, I'm just standing outside my
and you're a
own
kid
complex.
at the time.
No, I'm in my 20s.
Okay.
But, man, here I am, a college-educated man. I've seen some parts of the world that many people haven't seen. Like,
right.
I've never touched drugs before.
Right.
That's not my thing.
You're a stereotype.
You know what I'm saying? So I had long dreads at the time, and I don't know if that's what it was, but I remember the guy saying that I fit the profile. Black male between the ages of 23, 38, between 5'9", 6'3". I remember this like it was yesterday. 170 to 230 pounds. My dad was like, shit, that could be the whole damn complex. What you talking about?
Right.
And at the time I had goals in my mouth. And so he was like, well, does he have goals? Does he have dreads? And the guy's looking, man, take these handcuffs off of him right now. You're going to have more problems than you think.
Right.
Took the cuffs off, man. I was so embarrassed. I'm crying. And I remember my dad, and this was right after Katrina too. So my uncle, he'd come down from New Orleans. One thing about New Orleans folks, they gonna say what's on their mind.
Absolutely.
So my uncle had already been saying, "Say, baby, that radio stuff is stupid. That basketball stuff is stupid. Your daddy wants you to go to law school." And he's like, "I ain't gonna tell you, but I'm gonna tell you." I remember my dad that night saying, "Look, man, this is why you got to know your rights. This type of shit happens all the time in our community."
Wow.
And I'm not telling you what to do, but just think about it. Light bulb went off. I applied to every law school. I applied to all 5 HBCUs. But the first school to accept me, I made a promise. I said, the first school to accept me, that's the school I'm going to go to.
Okay.
And it was Southern.
Hey, hold on, I gotta give a shout out to see Southern how we doing it, how we just manifest things and we turn people lives around. I see, okay.
Yeah, man, it was Southern, and I love Southern. I recently was named as a distinguished alumni, and I tell them I owe it all to them because they took a chance on me,
Mm-hmm.
and I made it my mission, to represent people, the underserved communities, the voiceless, and be a powerful voice.
Right.
And let them know, like, I'm their worst nightmare.
Okay.
Because, yes, I'm not in, $1,000 suits all the time. This is normally how I dress.
Okay.
Right? You're probably going to see me like this more, but I want you to know the end you're thinking I am. No. I'm not.
That's dope, though.
I'm not. And so that's kind of been my mindset, man. And that's why I take, my slogan is, man, it's just in business. It's personal.
Right.
I take everything personal because I was in that position. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of my story, like how I went from working radio to not hooping to now I'm a lawyer. Because like I said, man, when I was in school, that was the furthest thing.
Because, all right, so I want to put myself in that mindset, in that 22, 23-year-old mindset. And being real, I'm working for the radio, got access to all the parties, got all the chicks, do whatever I want to do. I'm in Houston, I'm in my hometown. We having a good time. Had that talk with your uncle, go to law school. So that takes discipline, the discipline that I didn't have, other than just waking up and going to work in the morning. I got to take the LSAT, right? First, I got to have some intelligence to do that, some type of intelligence. Take the LSAT, pass the LSAT, apply to these schools, right? And then do the actual work by going to law school, right? Going to, law school's 3 years?
3 years.
3 years.
You're going full time.
Right, 3 years. And then you got to pass the bar. Right? So now that's 4 years out of your life that you have to dismiss just by being strictly disciplined. So how did you go from radio programmer to focus directly on law school?
I tell you, man, I just saw it as, it's like when someone tells you you can't do something or they're putting a cap on your potential.
Okay.
Like, I'm the type, if you tell me this is all I'm going to be, I'm about to bust my ass to prove you otherwise, right? Like, quiet as kept, my dad went to Thurgood. I wanted to go to Thurgood, right? Okay. And I BS'd the first time around on the LSAT because I thought it was like the SAT and ACT. I'm naturally smart, so I went in there and tried to raw dog it, and it was like, nah, it's not like that.
Right.
So the dean at the time, I ain't going to mention his name and put him on blast, but one thing about me and one thing I've been taught, if a man gives you his word, I expect for you to live
Absolutely,
up to it,
absolutely.
Right? So being an athlete, we're naturally competitive.
Right.
Someone say you can't do something.
You can work harder,
You're going to work harder.
Right.
So my score was low, and at the time, they averaged the scores. Now they just take your highest score, right? So I think I scored like a 138 or something. I ain't had no books, nothing. I just went in there and just tried to take it. So this particular dean was like, well, if I let you in, I'll be doing a favor to your dad. I was like, I don't care about that shit. The other people been doing that for
years, right?
What you talking
it's
about?
With the white schools all the time.
That's how that works. What
Right.
you mean? But he challenged me, and he knew. He kind of looked at my background. I was like, but you're an athlete, right? So are you saying you can't do it? I was like, nah, I ain't say that at all, right? So he challenged me. He told me, man, if you could just get your score to like a 143,
okay,
you in. So I had a cousin who had recently graduated from Thurgood. Shout out Ebony Parks. Ebony actually lives here in the city. Ebony gave me her book, her Princeton Review book. Man, I just studied that book relentlessly. And so I went from like a 138 to like a 158.
Okay.
Right? If they would have taken that score, that higher score now, man, I could have gone to law school for free.
Okay.
But I met it. I met the score. So I'm thinking I'm going to get in. So now I apply to TSU. Shit, they put me on the waiting list.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like you flat out lied to me. But again, man, I'm big on things happening according to God's plan.
I was about to say that.
We won't see it today, but maybe tomorrow, maybe next year,
right.
maybe the year after next. You'll understand why it was meant for me to go to Southern. I got the best education. I had the best professors. The network is crazy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm glad that happened, right? But again, like I said, stuff at the radio, I saw the writing on the wall. And again, I was becoming frustrated, and I felt like, man, you putting a cap on my money. You messing with my money. So I need to think about something else, right? And I just saw law school as an opportunity. Then that incident occurred. Man, I made it my mission, bro. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do everything I can, you know. And truth be told, when I went out to Nevada, shit, I failed the bar a couple times. The last time, come to find out, they made a mistake, right? So I ultimately passed the bar.
So that was the bar in Vegas?
In Vegas,
no,
right.
Nevada. Yeah,
in Nevada, you know. And so I tell people this story all the time. For those that don't pass the bar the first time, man, don't worry about that because, man, I do well. I eat good. I have clientele. My reputation is sterling. No one has ever asked me, how many times did it take you to pass the bar?
Right.
You know, what law school did you go? Man, don't nobody care about that.
Right.
Can you help me and how much?
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
But it wasn't meant for me to be out in Nevada, right? Come home, I take the Texas bar. I pass on the first rip, and the Texas bar was way harder than the Nevada bar.
Okay.
Way harder. And it wasn't an issue of me not studying, being focused. I'm super disciplined. I've been like that since a little kid, man. When I told myself I wanted to play Division I basketball, I was that kid that was up at 5 in the morning working on.
Oh, wow,
dribbling.
really?
Right.
Wow.
I was that kid. I was running. I was in the gym. You know, after school, I'm getting shots up. Like, I was dedicated to it. So if I set my mind to something, I'm serious about it. And law school was hard. But we had fun, though. I ain't gonna lie. We had fun. But you understood, and at the time, man, I think for me, what helped me, I wasn't, quote unquote, that traditional student that went straight from undergrad to law school.
Right.
So I didn't still have that undergrad mindset.
Right.
Because law school is not like that. Everything you learn, the way you've been taught to learn, you gotta throw that shit out the window, right? It's, if I ask you a question, you're my professor. I'm like, hey, prof, I don't understand this. Professor in college and undergrad,
they're not going to answer the question.
They're going to explain it to you. But in law school, it's like, okay, figure it out.
That's right.
It's like, wow. You know, okay. And it's just a shock. But again, working in the real world, you know, problems coming. Maybe that person doesn't have the answer, but you got to figure it out.
Right.
So, I mean, it was a weird path, but it was designed for me to go down the path that I went through, twisting and winding road.
Well, you know, it's funny you said that because, and this I guess is more of a psychology thing. So I have a double major. So I'm a psychology major and a kinesiology major, right?
Okay. I
could have got my master's, but I just like 18 hours into my master's, I just never wanted to do it.
Right.
I thought about going to law school. I was like, I'm done with that. But to what you just said, as far as how the professors told you figure it out in psychology, they have a way to if the question comes to your mind, you have the answer to it. That's the reason why that's the reason why the question came to you. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The question would have never came into your brain if you would never receive an answer. You just got to figure out what the answer is.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's kind of like that.
Right.
It's like a logic. Right?
Yeah. Damn, it was tough at first, but you get used to, you know, the way and the environment. And like I said, man, Southern was awesome. You know, shout out Chancellor Pierre.
I know Chancellor Pierre.
Yeah. He was vice chancellor at the time, but you know, one of my mentors, Professor North. Man, I just had great professors. And like I say, between Chancellor Pierre and Professor North, I don't care where I am. I kid you not, I had an arbitration up in Canada.
Okay.
And I'm talking, you know, to one of the parties' counsel, and I went to Southern. Do you know John Pierre? I was like, what in the hell? Yeah. I mean, and so like that network is just crazy, man. But again, I'm just glad I'm there. But I tell kids all the time, bro, like I had no aspirations of being
an attorney
at all.
Right.
At all, man. You look at some of my old stuff I wrote down in high school. Man, I thought I was gonna be the next Stuart Scott. I wanted to be on ESPN.
Okay.
You know, truth be told, that's the reason why I didn't go to LSU. LSU was recruiting. And when I went there for Tiger Day on an unofficial visit, me and one of my partners, man, that played football, he was being recruited by LSU. I wanted so badly because they were playing Auburn. I'll never forget this. Man, ESPN was there. They had one of the top, you know, colleges of communication. And I wanted to, you know, see and over there, man. They kept wanting me to talk about African-American studies. I'm like, I don't want to major in that.
Right.
What can I do with that?
Right.
I ain't trying to be no teacher.
Right.
Like, nah, I want to do that. And finally, Brian Brashears, big white guy that was like my tour guide or whatnot.
Okay.
he was like, well, man, a lot of us we take
General studies.
these classes so it won't interfere with basketball. I'm like, bro, I go to a college preparatory school. I have like a 3.9. Like I'm good.
Right.
Like,
You
I'll be okay.
enough to do that. Yeah,
you
good. You're gonna pass.
So that kind of turned me off a little bit.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? But again, everything happens for a reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I ain't want to go to no Texas schools. No. My mom would get mad. All the schools that recruit reject pile.
Right.
I'm an only child.
Okay.
Right. So my mom was very like overprotective.
Right.
You know what
she
I'm
wants
saying?
you here. Baby,
Right.
stay here. It's
so
all right.
I tried to get far, far away. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
good.
I tell kids, man, like my kids I coach, man, go to school far away because you learn about yourself.
Right.
Right. You have to make uncomfortable become comfortable. When you are around people that act like you, talk like you, dress like you get lax.
It's
you
easy.
complacent,
Comfortable,
right?
yeah.
And then the fact that I went to Alabama State, man, I got friends all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah, Alabama. I like Alabama State. Right there by Atlanta. Yeah, it's cool.
It was great.
So fast forward. Now you an attorney. How long you been an attorney?
Man, I have been practicing since 2009. So what is this?
12.
12 years.
You're a criminal attorney,
criminal
right?
defense, but I also deal with personal injury.
Okay.
Dabbled in a little entertainment stuff, but I don't have time to babysit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's yeah.
I don't have time.
So in saying that, the reason why you're on the show because you have an announcement that you want to make, even though most people know it already, but the people that don't know, what exactly why you came on the show?
Well, first of all, I was invited on this great platform.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Shout out Culturally Distinct. It's dope.
That's it.
But no, man, I've decided it's time to take a different path, and I'm running to become the judge of the 228th District Court.
Okay.
Which is one of our 22 felony district courts here in Harris County. It's time, man. Shout out to the sisters that won in 2018 the Black Girl Magic, but I don't feel like we have enough black male representation on the bench. And when you look at the bulk of the people that come before our courts down at 1201, they look like you and I.
Right. Right.
It's either, I think we make up a little over 52% of the persons that come before our criminal system, whereas
black and brown, yeah.
Black and brown. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so, like, to me, that's crazy. And I always say when your reality is not my reality, it's hard to understand. More importantly, it's hard to have compassion.
Yes.
Humanize you.
Right.
Empathize for you.
Right.
I see it all the time, man. I had a situation, it was 2 weeks ago. I was telling my dad, I was so furious. I had a client, matter of fact, she's from Greenspoint. She had a case out in Brazoria. And she was late, but she had called me. She didn't have anybody to watch her child to get on the bus.
Okay.
She has a small child. Now, we know what's going on. You can't just leave your child unattended to because either A, somebody might snatch her up, or hell, you might be charged with criminal negligence.
That's right.
Right?
That's
you know what I'm saying? So she's doing what she has to do, but she's being very proactive. She's emailing me. She's sending a video showing everything. So I announced this to the judge. I said, hey, judge, my client is running a little behind. She had some child care issues, but she's en route. She's actually right around the corner.
Okay.
Sister shows up maybe like 9:15, 9:20. So I've already got the reset, but the bailiff's like, nah, you need to stay here. She needs to sit in the jury box. I'm like, okay. So I'm looking like, all right, well.
That's weird.
Okay. So she goes and sits in the jury box. So finally, I get the judge's attention. I'm like, hey, judge, my client is here. She got in about 9:20, and judge goes in on her. It's like, oh, you can't just show up when you think you can show up.
Oh, wow. White
Mr.
guy?
Milledge, no, it was a white female.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Milledge, she's just going to sit there, and I'll let her leave at 10, but she's going to learn, like, we don't operate on our time. And so I could feel my client about to get an attitude.
Right,
so
right.
I'm like, calm down.
Don't do that, yeah.
So I explained. I said, well, judge, she had an issue with her smaller child. She didn't have anyone to watch her child at the bus stop. The bus was late. These things kind of happen. And she literally lives near Bush Airport. She lives in Greenspoint. So I'm from there. I know how far this is, right? Judge, I live downtown, and it takes me 30, 35 minutes to get here.
Right.
So you could imagine fighting traffic. I said, but she's here. Judge told her, well, you need to arrange child care. You need to have somebody pick it up. So my client was like, well, judge, I don't have anybody. She was like, well, this is a priority over anything else you got going on. So I kind of looked, and that's when my client was about to lose. I had to tap her at the thigh. I was like,
yeah.
So make a long story short, I'm still in the building because I need to review some discovery. So I'm going upstairs, and I'm coming back down, letting the prosecutor know, like, hey, the discovery, the video is still not working. can you have one of your IT guys try to assist me?
Okay.
So now it's like 10 o'clock. In walks this white male who's late.
All right.
And judge sits him in a jury box. He asks him, sir, why were you late? So he says, well, judge, I paid somebody to give me a ride and they stiffed me on the ride, but I'm here. You know what the judge said?
She said,
mind
okay.
you, my client is sitting right there in the jury
Okay.
box. So I know my client is thinking like, judge about to go off on him.
Right.
Because she went off on me. Well, these things happen. I understand. Well, I'm glad
Oh my
you're
goodness. Here. Oh my goodness. Oh,
so the
my
judge
goodness.
didn't see me looking in the doorway, and I had this look like, and I just put my head down. So
Crazy,
after
man.
we walk out, she lets my client leave. Tell my client just drive home because my client is furious. Calling
yeah,
off,
absolutely.
just furious. So judge sees me later. It's like, well, Mr. Milledge, sorry for being tough on your client, but sometimes you know how these people are. I was like, I don't. Honestly.
These people.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really, but hey, judge, it's all good. She was like, well, if I don't see you before the new year, Happy New Year. I said, you won't see me.
Right. That's crazy, man.
But my point is, at that moment, this lady who's a mom could not see herself as this young mom because the one common thing they didn't have in common is skin tone.
Right.
And we can sit here and play games and act like, oh, that's crazy. But it is.
That's the reality.
That's reality.
That's right.
Right? Whereas the other young man who was late, both of them were late, right? I'm not disputing that. So if the penalty for being late is you get a tongue lashing, that should be for everybody.
Absolutely.
But instead, she was able to humanize and empathize with this young man and say those things happen. I'm glad you're here.
Right.
So, again, when I look at our bench, we have 2 black male judges, and Robert Johnson and Deshaun Jones. I won't speak on Robert Johnson, but Deshaun
So that's
Jones,
in 228, or that's just in the city of Houston?
Just in Harris County.
Okay.
Which is crazy. We're the largest county in the South. We're the largest county in the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We're the 3rd largest county in the country.
With 2 black judges.
2 black male judges.
Male judges.
And on the felony side.
Okay.
That's crazy. On the misdemeanor side, we have 2. So
wow.
Now we have a bunch of sisters,
Yeah,
which I love.
A 1920, something like that.
We have a bunch of, sisters that are, for the most part, great judges.
Right.
But there's only so much a woman can relate to a man and vice versa.
Right. That is true.
And the bulk of the people that are coming before us are young black and Hispanic males.
Right. So I want to ask you that. I want to get into that. So being an African American male that's an attorney that's campaigning to be a judge, what do you see? Because if you in a certain situation, say for instance, you live in the suburbs, right? You're a black man. You.
Well, now I don't. No, I live in the city.
What I'm saying,
okay.
I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
You live in the suburbs, and you're a middle class citizen, so you're making money. So your norm is seeing a majority of other people, right?
Right.
Outside of black and brown. Black and brown, they're in the same economics
Right.
class. So now, becoming the judge, and you see a certain type of black and brown person daily. Does that interfere with does that mess around with like your psyche saying, oh man, it's another black dude. You see what I'm saying? Like
I do. So is your question, would it mess with my psyche?
yes.
No, because at the end of the day, the law is the law.
Okay.
Right? And as a judge, my job is just to be a neutral arbitrator. I just call balls and strikes. Right?
Okay.
I decide whether or not evidence comes in or if it gets thrown out. But as far as any arguments, unless you come to me for punishment, right, I don't have anything to do with that.
Right.
Now, as a lawyer, when I go to some of these other counties, and I wear bow ties every day, and that's my code. When I say I'm the only bow tie wearing lawyer, that's my code.
You're a noob too, so
Yeah, indeed. I shout out to the bros out there. Shout out to the noobs.
Shout out to the noobs, y'all.
I am the only black attorney a lot of times in some of these smaller counties, but then when I look at the defendants, they're all black.
Right.
And it's like, man. And then I see the counsel that's representing them, mostly court-appointed. That's not to say all court-appointed. They get a bad rap because there's some court-appointed attorneys that bust their ass, that really do good work, that really care about their clients, right? But when I see that and I see how they're just being rushed through and just getting BS deals.
Right.
It's like, man,
Yeah.
that hurts.
Yeah.
But as a judge in Harris County, I think what's more frustrating, or what would be more frustrating to me, or seeing the cases, the probable cause of some of these cases, right? Because
Like,
I'm all for the laws being upheld. I'm all for, officers doing their job.
okay.
But I'm more so for officers staying within the lines, staying within the rules,
Right.
not teetering on the line of being unethical. And I think a lot of times there's some things that are done that really kind of get close to that line.
A lot.
And,
yeah, it's a lot.
I think that is frustrating because it's like, man, come on, man. So you search this man's car because he's in a high crime area and you just smell weed. But you didn't find weed.
You just smell weed. That could be in the air. That could be everywhere.
It's like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Like, you get tired of that.
They playing the game.
You get tired of, and I'm sure if there are prosecutors listening as well as defense attorneys, we get tired of having to wait on evidence. Right? Because that just holds up the wheels of justice. And we have people that have been sitting in county jail for 2-3 years waiting to go to trial.
That's crazy.
And it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And so, and I get it. Our dockets are bloated. It's a lot of stuff. Hurricane Harvey kind of backed us up. Then you backdoor with the pandemic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's tough. But at the end of the day, the wheels of justice still have to turn.
Right.
And that's something that I want to implement in the 228. The incumbent is a nice guy. I don't know him, personally like that.
Okay.
He's very unassuming. In fact, it's not a good thing, or maybe it is a good thing, but when you ask a lot of lawyers and judges, like when I tell them I'm running for the 228, the first question they say is, who's in the 228? And I tell them the judge's name, they're like, I don't think I know him. Mm-hmm. Whereas the judge prior to him, which was my frat brother, Mark Carter, was a black Republican. It was Colin Powell's nephew. Great judge. Implemented a lot of good things, and that court ran smoothly. But, in 2018, we had a lot of judges that rode the black girl magic coattail. Didn't campaign, really weren't out there on the front lines, and they got in.
Right.
Because it was a sweep.
Right.
Harris County is a Democratic county. No matter what my friends on the right try to do and trying to suppress the vote, that's another thing, man. Y'all make sure if you're not registered to vote, last day to register is January 31st.
Yes, that's right.
Early voting begins February the 14th. Man, the harder they try to suppress, the harder you have to make sure you get out to vote because that stuff affects you daily.
Absolutely.
I know some of us, including myself, are frustrated with the administration now, the White House administration, because as a black male, I don't feel like they're meeting our needs.
Okay.
Although we're always the ones that they come to get votes. But locally, no. There are politicians fighting for us locally. And we need to make sure that we're out to vote, because if you don't vote, you have no right to complain.
Right.
Like, that
is true.
That's just always been my attitude.
Locally, yeah.
Local, to me, matters more than national.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because that's something that touches you every day.
That's your community.
Right.
You deal with that every day.
So, man, but, some of the things that I want to do, I learned in law school, man, the criminal justice system shouldn't just be about punishment. Right?
Okay.
And it's crazy. I see a lot of people online, like there's a young man that he's accused of killing his ex-girlfriend, a young girl, and people are mad that he got bond at $250,000.
Okay.
Right? Not only did he get bond, he made bond. Right? So they're mad at the judge, they're mad at the DA, they're mad at just everybody, when probably they should be mad at the bail bondsman for taking less than the 10 or 12% that they used to do, right? So what I tell people, because they're like, well, that person shouldn't get out. I'm like, well, it's easy for you to say that because, A, it's not you or
Correct.
It's not one of your loved ones.
Absolutely.
Everyone is entitled to bond,
Right.
right? The Constitution calls for it. The only people that are not entitled to bond are those that are accused of capital offenses, capital murder,
Right.
You have a right to, or you can possibly deny them bail because it is a capital offense. That's what the Texas Code says, the Texas Constitution says, right? But everyone is entitled to bond, and bond is not supposed to be punitive. It's not supposed to be a mechanism to keep you in jail.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a mechanism only to ensure that you appear in court. And a lot of people don't understand that. And so now we have this big push for bail reform. And I think when people hear bail reform, they just think, oh, that just means criminals are about to get out there. Well, first and foremost, when a person is charged with something, they're just accused. An accusation is just that. It's an allegation that hasn't been proven, right? What makes an allegation fact, and I always say this in my voir dire, is evidence, right? Until we see the evidence, you got to treat that person as a presumed innocent person.
That's what they say. Prove what is it?
It's
Innocent to proven guilty.
It actually is innocent unless proven guilty.
Okay.
We've been trained to say innocent until proven guilty.
So that means you're gonna be guilty
right
now.
Right.
I got you.
You see what I mean? So it's unless, right? Because the burden is on the state. So you have to treat people like that. Yeah, it sucks. Those allegations are very severe and heinous. Say my man supposedly shot this girl 22 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that seems a little extreme.
Right.
But again, what is that judge supposed to do? And I believe it was the magistrate that set that bond. But $250,000, most people don't have $25,000 just laying around, right?
Especially to get out of jail.
To get out of jail,
right.
And so, you know, folks are mad about that. But people have to understand what the law is. And my thing is, man, as long as I follow the law, no matter what the criticism is going to be, because you can't please everybody,
right?
You know. Somebody might be mad at me wearing this white Gucci sweater.
Right.
Sweatshirt.
Gucci.
You know what I'm saying?
I see you love.
You know what I mean? Somebody might be mad at that.
Right.
Just because.
Right.
So you just have to follow the law, and you can't worry about what the outside world thinks, because a lot of people just unfortunately are not armed with the proper knowledge.
Because I was going to ask you that as far as a circle of judges. Because people call it a circle of trust or a band of brothers. You know what I'm saying? They have a certain way of doing things, just like the police, the Blue Brothers or whatnot. Do you think that circle will influence your decision?
No, because unlike law enforcement, I don't really feel like there is like this black robe of silence. Like, no, like, hey, man, my man is on some foolishness, right? And you're independent. You're responsible for your court, right? That's all. You're not responsible for the police department.
Right, that's true. That is true.
You're only responsible for your court and what goes on in your court.
Right.
Whatever statistics there are in the 232nd, that ain't got nothing to do with the 228.
That's right.
Right? So it wouldn't influence mine, because at the end of the day, and I know all of our judges, with the exception of the guy that I'm running against, to be real with you, but some I consider actual friends, like outside of court, but they don't think like me. I don't think like them. Now, I may consult with them because maybe they have experience in certain things that in my time I haven't experienced. Like, I've never done a capital murder before. I've done plenty of homicides, but I've never done a capital murder where death is on the table, right? So that would be something that I have to learn. And one thing about me, I've never been a person who's like, man, I know it all. No, if I don't know something, I'm going to tell you, look, I don't know it, but I'm resourceful and I'm going to find out.
Right.
Okay? That's just me. So, no, there will be no influence. My decision will be my decision. And I'll think long and hard about it, and I will be rooted. Every decision will be rooted in law.
In law, right. I got you.
That's all you can ask for.
Because it's funny you say that. I was talking to somebody the other day, you know, and they said how God is the ultimate judge. But I'm like, how can a man give another man death? That's going to weigh on your heart, like when you go to sleep at night. You know what I mean?
Bro, there are a lot of people during voir dire, which is like your jury selection, right? There are a lot of people that say, look, I just can't. Now, some of these people, they know that's just a way to get out of jury duty. And I always tell, especially black folks, stop trying to get out of jury duty.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, man, if it were you want somebody that looks like you.
That's right. To represent
that's deciding your fate. Because you may understand, well, hey, I ain't know, man was going to do that. And you may understand that you don't know man's real name because you just grew up knowing him as man.
Right.
Most people that don't look like you might not get that, right? So stop trying to get out of jury duty. But back to my original point, a lot of people will say, like, yo, I just don't feel comfortable judging another man. God is the ultimate judge, which we're trained as Christians or whatever your religion is, yes, right? But, the law is different from religion, right? And so if a person is not able to sit there and make a decision as to a person's guilt or innocence, and if it's a capital case, whether or not this person lives or dies, more than likely they're going to be struck from that jury. Right. Got you. And so, it's tough. Yes. And it would weigh on your conscience.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, I can imagine, when that time comes and if I have a capital murder before me, having to sign, and if the jury decides that death is the right verdict and the right way to go, signing that death warrant. Like that's going to be tough for me.
Ooh, that's rough.
But it's part of my job.
Right.
And I signed up knowing That's part
That's
of my
part
job.
of it. So how can people first of all, when is the campaign? How can people donate to the campaign? And how can they find the information for us getting you out there, or just getting you out there and just telling people about it?
Word. So everything is on my website, Milledge for Justice. That's MILLEDGE, the number 4, and the word justice, JUSTICE.com. We have the donation link on there. We have a bio where you can learn more about me. If you want to look me up on IG, I'm very active on that. You can go to my my page, ATTYSLM2, ATTYSLM2. You know, I'm always talking about, my everyday results, chronicling. We just got an aggravated kidnapping dismissed, so we're excited about that. So people can find me there, man, and just share. Campaign is going on right now.
Okay.
We're looking to have another event. Matter of fact, I got to get with Brother Goins on this. We're looking to have another event at the beginning of February, a little fundraiser. Thus far, since August, we've raised about a little over $18,000,
okay, which
I think is very well.
Absolutely.
Primary. And but it does take money. You got to get your name out there, signage. The good thing is, man, I ain't hard to find. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in the community, and that's what I'm big on. One of my slogans is from Greenspoint to the bench.
Okay.
Right. I'm there.
So that's the slogan for your campaign.
Right. Bringing justice and perspective, and from Greenspoint to the bench.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I'm very active, and thankfully, man, I've done right by people my entire life, and people rock with me because they know I'm a straight shooter.
Right.
He's straight with no chaser. I'm not gonna change. This part, like I say, I got asked this question last night. I was doing a screening with a political organization, and they were like, "Well, is this for political aspirations?" I said, "No, man, I ain't no politician. I've had opportunities and been asked to run for judge prior to this, but I didn't want to do that because I have a hard time politicking.
Right.
Like, that's not me. Like, if it's somebody I don't like, I'm gonna tell you.
I don't like you.
I don't fool with you like that.
Right.
I'm gonna be professional about it.
Yeah.
But I don't fool with you like
right.
that. So I'm not gonna be skinning and grinning in your face. Right. That's how I am as a lawyer. Like most people in the courthouse, most know me as a very, very fine attorney. Very good attorney. There's some people, a small percentage, that might just call me an asshole, but they'll say I'm a good attorney.
Right.
That's cool.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're doing your job.
Right. I'm doing my job. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can call it what it is, but these people are paying me good money to work hard for them.
Correct.
To get the best results I possibly can get.
Correct.
So I ain't got time to be buddy-buddy.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if I fool with you, I fool with you.
Right.
That's cool.
That's dope. That's real. That's real deal. That's like, and my thing is with us, as far as when I say us, black men, black and brown men, we're afraid of the law system, and we're afraid to learn it unless we're in it. You know what I mean? So when we see somebody like you that looks like us, that represent us, it was like, okay, now I feel more comfortable by voting, or I feel more comfortable by going, just understanding the law, understanding just my right, simple rights. In closing, if you have a kid, we have a kid or whatnot that wants to get some type of mentorship, stuff like that. I know you coach AAU, stuff like that. How can they reach out to you on that side?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can definitely, let me give you my email. It's smilledge, so that's SMILLEDGE, the number 2, @gmail.com. You can send me a DM on Instagram, ATTYSLM2. Hell, you can call the office, the Milledge Law Firm, 713-812-1409. I coach for Houston Flight. I'm always down to mentor, man. I mentor a lot of young attorneys, young men and women that are in college. If you want the game, if you want to know and see what I do on a daily basis, that's what, holler at me. I've never been afraid of that. We need more people to understand that we're regular people. Like, when I go talk to schools, I make sure I'm not suited and booted. I want you to see that I'm tatted.
You're relatable.
Right. I want you to see, like, hey, man, this dude is just like me. He comes from the same place. Because I remember having a teacher in 4th grade telling us, we had this white lady, Miss Ross, I call her name, I don't care about her. She told us at Conley Elementary, which was predominantly black, told us that most of us probably were going to end up in prison. Flat out told us. A teacher.
Oh, wow. It's crazy.
And anybody that went to Conley Elementary that was in there, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, wow.
Flat out told us. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, our head principal, Miss Walker, was black. Miss Walker found that out. I was like, we have an issue. But you had people that were trying to down you like that. And then again, you push like, hey, you're not gonna be anything. You can't be that because you come from here.
Right.
Man, that's BS.
Right. Absolutely.
That's BS.
Absolutely.
Like there are plenty of opportunities for us, and there are people that can give you the game. That's the biggest thing. So I'm available. Reach out to me, man. I appreciate the platform.
No doubt. No doubt.
Everything, man. This was love.
No doubt. Look, y'all know what that is. Look, my man, I appreciate Sam. Look, I appreciate you coming through.
No doubt.
And we gonna speak this thing to existence, because every time somebody come on the show, is what we do. We speaking things into existence. So when you become judge,
yes, sir,
we gonna celebrate.
Yes, sir.
You dig what I'm saying? So one more time before we get out of here, to donate to your campaign, for mentorship, give them your email address, your phone number, your Instagram, stuff like that.
Okay, so email address for the mentorship, Milledge, SMILLEDGE, the number 2, at gmail.com. The campaign website is Milledge for Justice, MILLEDGE, the number 4, justice.com. All right. My office number 713-812-1409. Make sure you ask for Sam Milledge II, because you don't want to talk to the old guy. That's senior. I look better than him. I'm the young and improved version.
There you go. There you have it. And look, on the screen, I'm going to put the information on the screen. I'm going to put the campaign information on the screen also. So, guys, I appreciate you guys for tuning into the show. I love you guys. You know how we highlight people in our community, and that's what we call culturally distinct. So continue to zoom in, continue to subscribe, continue to like us, and tell people about the show. This is us, culturally distinct. This is your boy DJ KO. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Peace.